Good evening, gamers. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about skilling. Unlike skilling, this is going to be a really quick one because I just wanted to focus on one area where Jagex could greatly improve the skilling experience. Hold up, I know what you're thinking. Skilling, very cringe. Improve? Yes, please. If we look at the skilling tab here, we can break the skills down into a few different categories. We got the good skills, which are these combat ones along the left side. Then you got like crafting skills, artisan skills, bank standing skills, like you got like herb lore, smithing, crafting itself, fletching, stuff like that. Then you kind of got like the miscellaneous ones with agility, thieving that don't really fall into any of the categories. But the one that I did want to focus on, or the category that I did want to focus on as a whole, is the gathering skills. There's 3 gathering skills in Runescape. There's fishing, which I'm doing here, where you catch fish. There's woodcutting, where, as the name would imply, you cut wood. And then, finally, there is mining, where you mine ore, rocks, limestone, you name it. You just, you swing a pickaxe and you get stuff from it. Make big rocks into little rocks. These are some of the slowest and most boring skills in the game. However, they're not supposed to be super engaging or fun. They are kind of what they are, right? You are gathering resources for you to use and sell later. That's kind of like the basic concept of the skill. But what if there was a way to make them suck just a little bit less? I know what you're thinking. The first thing on your mind, just make them give you more experience. And yes, please. While it would be great to just make these all give you experience that's in line with something like herb lore that's 450k an hour, that's not really completely necessary to make these more tolerable. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. One of these 3 skills is not like the others. I guess that could be said twice in 2 different ways, and I want to hit both angles. Let's take a quick look at the skill progression of each one of these. For woodcutting, we got the normal trees, which have 1 log each. You chop it, it's dead. You move on to the oaks, which are your first AFK tree. You can just sit there chopping it till RNG makes it disappear and you have to move on to the next one. After this, you move on to teaks, which you could stay at till the end, 3 ticking, or 2 ticking, or whatever ticking. You're not going to do that though, because you're going to move on to blisterwood trees until 90 because they are AFK and pretty decent experience. And then we're moving on to the redwoods. Avert your eyes at this graphic, children. But anyways, redwoods are fantastic. It is the solution to all of the problems that some of the other skills have. It's AFK, as all AFK could possibly be. It's about 55k experience per hour, which blows the previous 2 AFK methods of magic trees and yew trees out of the water. And it's just generally pleasant to do, despite looking a little phallic. Next up, we got the fishing progression. Honestly, I didn't prepare for the wiki to show me so many different things. I kind of just had something in my mind. But apparently there's a ton of different ways to train the fishing skill. So I'm just going to put a basic progression up here to prove the point that I was trying to make in the first place before the wiki threw a wrench in it. So you got like all the basic stuff. You know, you start off with the shrimp, onto the herring, and then eventually you get to kind of your like big fishing methods. You're going to be fly fishing for a considerable amount of time. That means you're getting those trout and those salmon. You're going to eventually move on to barbarian fishing, which is basically just fly fishing in a different area. You're just going to be dropping these onto the floor. And honestly, you can barbarian fish straight to 99, and that's really not that bad of a method. But there is a massive missed opportunity with one fish that I did want to highlight, and that one is the anglerfish. Before I move on to talking about the anglerfish, I do recognize that there's a ton of different ways that you can train your fishing, especially once you get to the higher levels. You got temperos, you got aerial fishing, you have the cambambams, monkfish, swordfish, tuna, infernal eels, minnows, anglerfish, sacred eel. I am running out of breath. There is so many different things that you can do for this, and some of them are decent, but I do want to highlight that Jagex did try to do something when they made the redwood, and I feel with the anglerfish, they were on the right track, but was kind of a swing and a miss. I threw together a quick little graphic. I do want to apologize for the wiki's graphic of the redwood tree looking like an Ent's ding dong, but I do want to prove a point that the anglerfish is basically the fishing equivalent of a redwood, but if we look at the experience rates, one of these two is not like the others. The redwood's clocking in at 380 experience per log, which you can boost with, you know, some various other stuff like the outfit, coming in at 55 to 75k an hour, probably closer to the 55 because you're AFK during this, and that's kind of the whole point. The anglerfish looking at 120 experience each, less than 33% of what the redwood is, and you get a little bit less of them per hour, so you're clocking in at only 9,000 to 18,000 experience an hour. Since I am talking about this just being an AFK method, let's go, I should go on the low end, but let's just go smack dab in the middle. Let's call this like 14 or so. So you're looking at roughly about 1/4 the amount of experience for the equivalent type of activity. With both of these skills being a gathering skill along the same concept of gathering a resource for use or sale, it would just make sense to raise the EXP per anglerfish up to match the redwood. And since you do catch a little bit less of them, so it's not going to be quite as good as the redwood, so even without boosting the catch rate, you are getting an equivalent training method to the redwoods, which are so beloved by most endgame players. As it stands, anglerfish are exclusively caught by either bots or Iron Men. Why not incentivize other endgame players to do their AFK fishing grinds at anglerfish? The thing that sets the mining skill apart and makes it the other gathering skill's disabled little cousin is that it just isn't AFK at all. If we look at fishing and woodcutting, the basic premise of both of those is you click the resource deposit, your inventory fills up until RNG randomly turns that deposit off, and if you're doing karambwams, it just doesn't turn it off. It's just static there, and that's fantastic. Before I get ahead of myself, I'm just gonna go through this quick mining progression. You can do power mining iron. You're supposed to quest your mining to a certain level until you can power mine iron. So you're gonna power mine iron, 1 click equals 1 iron. Then you can go to granite to greatly increase your experience. 1 click equals 1 granite. And if you're 2 ticking or 3 ticking, whatever ticking the granite is, it's more than 1 click per granite. And that is extremely tedious and unlike the other gathering skills. There is one method that Jagex did make that is somewhat AFK for mining, and that is the motherlode mine. It's like hardly worth mentioning in this because it is extremely slow and just it's not as AFK as the other methods. These things combined just make mining overall the worst skill in RuneScape, like hands down. I cannot imagine wanting to do mining over any other skill in the game. Jagex was even close with Amethyst, right? Like it's a super high level rock or crystal, I guess, but it takes a while to mine one. But where they fell short with Amethyst was that it's just 1 amethyst per rock. Like I know you can get 2, but you know, it's not really in the same vein as redwoods and anglerfish, and they were so close to making an equivalent to those two. I feel like this one really could be improved by just making it match redwoods. Bump up the experience to like 55, 60k an hour, make it so the amethyst goes a little bit quicker, doesn't deplete the same way, just give it like the same RNG type of depletion as a redwood tree. It kind of even, the setup even like looks like a redwood tree. You're like all around the thing in the middle there, like it's so close. They were so close, but they just missed it somehow. Another thing I did want to propose is because it's a method that I loved when I played like 2012, 2011 Scape way back in the day. It's crazy that that's like over 10 years ago at this point. But it was the living rock caverns, and I forgot what it was called. It's like the something gold deposits, but it was the same concept. You basically mine the gold deposit until it's out, your inventory fills up. Why not just do this? Like gold's already in the game. You're not even bringing in a new resource. You're just making the collection of it enormously less shitty. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about this. My proposal is simple. Let's make a redwoods equivalent for both the fishing and the mining skills. There are equivalent types of skills, gathering skills, and the resources are already available in game. There'd just be some minor tweaks to experience and mechanics to make this happen. For fishing, all you would have to do is increase the experience of each anglerfish. Boom, done. Great, easy redwood equivalent, and anglers are instantly the new meta AFK method for fishing training. For the mining skill, you already have Amethyst in the game. Just make it so that they give in a redwoods equivalent amount of experience and that the ore vein deposit doesn't deplete after just one mine.